Camila, around the time I already wanted to leave, wanted me to go to TwitchCon Europe. Okay? And I was like, you know what? The timing is impeccable. The timing is so good. I will go to Europe and I will be free and I will enjoy myself and I will try to take some time away from the stream to figure out why I feel this way. So I pack my bags, I leave the stream behind. Hi, Cyrube. And I meet up with Joker and I'm so excited. I meet up with Toma and Suko. And, you know, Toma and Suko had the little weird bit where like they wouldn't let them on the plane and they were sad. And I was like, I felt my heart was breaking because I was like, dude, we were supposed to go on this trip together and that all happened. And I'm like, it's okay. We'll meet them. We'll meet them in Rotterdam. Hold on, I'm gonna change the music 1 second. So I'm already like, okay, I've left my stream. I don't know when I'm coming back. This trip is really important. I'm gonna meet Ines. I'm gonna go to Germany. I'm gonna go to Dokumi. I can't wait to surround myself with wonderful, kind people. It was like a 13.5 or something, or I can't remember, trip to Europe. We get there, I'm excited. I'm like in the line in customs, getting out my camera, my brand new camera I bought to vlog everything. I get to the guy at customs. Now, mind you, I don't know if you all remember, but the lead up to leaving, I had been kind of dicked around a lot from the US Embassy about my renewal for my passport. And it was because of the photos. They'd be like, it's too green. Send it again. I'd send it again. They're like, no, it's still not working. Give us another one. And I had done this like 3-4 months prior to leaving. I did this way ahead of time. Okay. So before I left, they were like, we'll provide you with an emergency passport. And I was like, okay, but here are the countries that I'm going to and the cities. Will it work? And they literally said, take a breath, calm down. You'll be fine. And I had proof. Lindsay heard me on the phone and heard them on the phone. They treated me like I was crazy for being like, I want to be sure that this is okay, which is wild because I was worried about going to America. Boy, was I wrong. Okay. So fast forward, I'm at customs at Rotterdam. I'm so close. I'm like already planning. I'm going to get into the hotel room. Like I'm sharing a room with like Suko and Toma. I can't wait to have a girls' night. I can't wait to get dressed with them. I have my meet and greet soon. I picked out specific outfits to meet you guys in. I was so excited. They look at me and they go, step aside, please. I was like, okay. And Joker's right next to me. And he's like, so he steps aside with me. Or no, I think he went to the other side and he's waiting. I'm like, I'll be right there. Don't worry about it. I'll be right there. To everyone who's resubbing, nice to see you guys. Thank you so much for resubbing. I just want to tell the story without like, because the people that are listening, I don't want them to be like, dude, get on with the story. So thank you so much. I see you and I appreciate you. So they take me aside and I'm sitting and I'm waiting at this little like bench for like 20 minutes. Then they bring me in and they interrogate me. They interrogate me for like 4 or so hours. Asking me, where am I going? Where am I coming from? Where was I born? Show me your bank account. How much money do you make? Where does it come from? When are you leaving? Then throughout this process, they have me sit outside and they come back and then they take my fingerprints, they take my photos, and I don't know what's happening and I'm trying to keep it together, okay? Because usually in really rough situations, I go stern, like I don't cry. I'm just very like, so mind you, 99% of them look really like intense, tall, scary, not really speaking English Viking dudes. Like you look at them wrong, they will throw you across the room, okay? But the one guy that was talking to me, interrogating me, it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of rough because he looked like some straight out of Vogue supermodel. I like, so I didn't want to look like a nervous idiot. He was like the most beautiful thing I've seen in my whole life. And he's interrogating me, bro. And I'm like, I've never seen someone that looks like this in person in my whole life. What airport? I actually don't know. I don't know. What's up, Faded? So listen, I'm sorry. I don't know how else to say that, but he was tall and he that's all I can say. Is that really my description? Come on, Layna, wake up. Maybe it's NL because it's Netherlands. Yes, I was at the Netherlands. Yes, Netherlands. Amsterdam, Schiphol. Is that right? I don't know. Layna's type, tall. He was tall and he had a face. Anyway, Yeah, it was not a nice airport. It was very small and it was dirty and it was scary. So at least the area in customs I was in. Anyway, so after hours and hours, and then they asked me a bunch of questions, and Joker tried to sit with me as long as he could. And I'm like, I have my head in my hands and I'm crying, but like quietly, like I don't let Joker see me. And just, poor Joker, he's so little. He like very hesitantly was like, hi Kappa, can I get a shot for Kappa? He was like hesitantly rubbing my back and did like the pat. Like I think he wanted to try to console me, but didn't know how. Because the whole thing was such a scary situation. So I'm thankful for Joker. Joker was with me through one of the hardest and scariest times. Like I'd put that right up there with getting hospitalized. Because I've never been in that situation. I don't know what to expect. I don't know if I'm going home. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble. I don't know. Also, hi Kappa. So Joker has to go because he's already been here for like, what, 5-6 hours or something crazy. Maybe I'm exaggerating. So he leaves and I'm just waiting. No food, no water. I can't get up and like go somewhere else. My phone's about to die. I call Lindsay and I tell her what's happening. And I try to call the US Embassy. And at this point, it's Friday. So everything's closed. And I get an emergency line and the guy's like, I want to help you. I can't help you until Tuesday because it is a holiday on Monday. And I everything that could go wrong is going wrong, and anyone that could help me can't. I'm on the other side of the world. Everyone's pretty much asleep at this point in America. Nothing's working. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. At this point, I didn't tell my community because I don't know what's going on, and I don't want them to see that I'm scared, and no one's helping me. So I'm literally the most alone I've felt in a really long time. Mind you, this is after I say I'm leaving the community, trying to figure myself out, and here I'm put in a situation that is so much worse than I anticipated. Okay? So bad timing all around. Then after a very long time, they come out with this stack, like this thick stack of paperwork, and they go, okay, we're sending you home. And this is him like leaning with the door kind of half cracked open, like he's trying to get me to go away. So I can't have a conversation. And then he closes the door and I'm like, what? Like there's no explanation. There's this paperwork that's in whatever language is in Netherlands. It's not in English for the most part. And so I knock and I'm like, can someone help me? Like, where do I go? What do you mean? When am I going? Where am I going? Am I going to New Zealand? What's happening? So someone comes out again and is like, you can come back at 7:30 a.m. At this point, I think it's like 7 p.m. or something like that. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I have to stay at the airport and then come back? He was like, yep. I'm like, okay, well, where am I going? What's the flight? Mind you, by the way, they confiscated my passports because I had asked, can I just go to Germany? Because I was already going to go to Germany and I proved that to them. Because in Germany, they accept emergency passports. They don't accept it in the Netherlands, okay? Yeah, I'm yapping a lot, Scape. I'm sorry. So they confiscated my passports because they don't even want me to travel anywhere else in the country. They want me out. They want me gone. So they said, we're sending you back to America, not New Zealand, because my flight was from America to Europe. Because I went from New Zealand to America to see Camila. I was going to pick her up, get Joker, and then go to Europe. So they're not even sending me home. If I wanted to go back to New Zealand, I had to pay money for it. I had to pay money on top of the money I already spent to get to America and Europe. So they were only covering the flight to America. So at this point, I'm like, okay, even if I wanted to go home, I'd have to spend like $3,000 to get back home. So I'm freaking out, and I'm only getting this information after like hours and hours and hours of being interrogated. Okay. Yeah, because the airline that brought you is responsible. Exactly. So it's not really anyone's fault, but it's just like, brother. So they're like, come back at this time. Here's your flight. We'll pick you up and we'll take you to the flight. So at this point, I can't do anything. Mind you, sorry. The last thing he said, this beautiful man looks me in the eyes and says, I'm sorry. It's purely political, is what he says. America, as of 2 years ago, no longer accepts emergency passports from the Netherlands. So in turn, we don't accept yours. That's it. That is it. That is the explanation. Had this been 2 years ago, they'd let me in. It'd be fine. Had I had my... And he whispered, essentially, get your New Zealand passport. If you're going to travel anywhere outside of America, you need to have, like, a different passport and you'll be fine. You can still come through an American passport, it's fine. But, like, they give you a little side eye these days. So, So that happened. It's fine. Not my problem. But that was the explanation I was given. I think he did try because he could see I was a tiny 5'2" girl, literally losing my mind quietly. I don't know why 2 years ago. That's just what I was told. So what's up, JDP? So why do they need an interrogation? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. But yeah, apparently New Zealand passports are one of the best passports in the world. So me and Lindsay are just going to get that sorted as fast as possible. I know I've said that a lot, but mind you, rewinding, I said a lot of things, but when my mental state isn't good, sometimes I just can't do anything. And it's not an excuse, but that is the reality of why a lot of things fell by the wayside when I wanted to do things and just couldn't. So I go and find there's like a little hotel in the airport. I'm like, thank God, I don't have to sleep in the airport. I get there. It was $700 a night. My phone's going to die. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. I'm alone. No one's awake because it's off hours in America. I'm by myself. Yes. So I either don't spend $700 that I don't really have, or I sleep at the airport that is very scary. So I foot the bill, and it's this tiny little square, like wooden room. And it's just enough to lay down and just enough to like use the bathroom. So that's when I updated you guys. And I just cried, bro. I just cried. And mind you, they have my bags. They didn't give me my bags. So I just have my backpack. And thankfully, since I traveled so much, I had like a change of like, I had a shirt. That was all I had at the time. So that's fine. At the time, I admit, it felt like life was just dragging me as much as it could. Also, hi, Cap. But it's fine. So massive shout outs to Blair and Adam. They said, hey, if you're coming back, stay with us. Stay with us for a while. Why don't we make use of your like time you were supposed to be away, right? And I'm like, you know what? Okay, let's do it. Where were you? We're going over it right now. So I wake up, I get there in the morning, and these two like kind of police officers have to escort me the whole way through security, the whole way through to the flight. They talk to the captain. They have my passports and information in a sealed like documentation. They pass it to the freaking captain and go, she can't have her documentation or her passports until she lands. And I'm like, okay. I'm trying to like, and by the way, these two guys that are escorting me are very nice. I'm like, I'm batting my eyelashes. I'm talking kindly. I'm trying to be sure that everything is fine and I can come back if I have all my right documentation. But it was such an over the top, like forceful situation. So yeah, I felt like a criminal. I really did. I don't know why. It is what it is. And so, but the captain, so the flight takes off, we're in the air. The captain walks up to me and he kind of kneels and he goes, are you okay? What happened? And I explain the situation and he looks pissed. He's like, they shouldn't have done that to you. That doesn't make any sense. I'm so sorry. He was like flabbergasted. So yeah, he was like, listen, I'm just going to give you your information, your documentation, your passports now. I don't need to wait till we land. And I hope that you're okay. And I just, yeah. So I tank the like, I don't know, is it 13 hours or 10? I can't remember, but I tank the trip in economy all the way back home. At this rate, I'm like digging into my savings and I said, you know what? I'm gonna make the most of this really bad situation. And I just go, I'm gonna travel. I need to essentially kill this old part of me and figure out why I was so sad, figure out why I can't do this anymore and be done with it so I can come back better. I need to come back better for me, for my family, for my friends, and biggest of all, my community, okay? So I'm in Seattle for like a week. I call up Sci-Fi. I'm like, bro, I'll buy you a ticket. I don't even care. Sci-Fi comes. All like four of us are touring Seattle and we're eating hot dogs. We're going to the arcade. We're having a good time. And mind you, throughout this period, I'm still sad. I'm still periodically just really lost. But it's okay. Because I just gotta keep going. But I had such a good time with them. I had such a good time. I traveled to Texas. I met Ray. I had lunch with Ray. It was like, I think we hung out for like 4 or 5 hours. And he said it was one of the first times that Tina was out of town and he never just really was able to like hang out with anyone one-on-one. So I felt really lucky that I just pretty much interviewed him was the situation. And then later on, Tina came back. They invited me to their house and they picked me up, bro. Oh my God. I went to their warehouse and I was like, are you sure? Are you sure I can do this? And they gave me this box and they're like, take whatever you want. So I had this huge box. Like I'm wearing one of their shirts now. I got shirts and sweaters. This morning I put on their little like raised Christmas sweater, which is amazing. I met their dogs. They've got a beautiful home. They were so nice to me. But I will say the one thing I noticed on this whole trip, I couldn't eat. I was also, thank you so much for joining. I like noticed that I was just in such a state. I wasn't able to eat in front of people. How many of you guys in chat, you guys have that issue where like you kind of feel a little bit overwhelmed or anxious, so you can't eat unless you're like on your own? Yeah. So I this whole trip, I couldn't really eat unless it was around like Blair and Adam or like Fillion. So I'm like trying to survive on this trip, and at the same time I'm like not eating, so I'm like wasting away. So I'm trying. I'm really, really trying. So sometimes I'd just be really tired meeting with people. Eating food was one of the first things that went. Yep. Yeah. I really wish I didn't have that. It took me a really long time to be able to eat, which is fine. What else? I met with Gamer Subs, and I know that sounds silly, but this was really, really, really big for me. They treated me like family. They took me out to this steakhouse, and I think I had the best steak I've ever had in my entire life. They were incredible. And also, Bambi, you have a good rest of your day, dude. Oh, I think it was called Three Forks. Also, Nyan, welcome back. They all like have kids and their wives, or what? Was it Monty's wife came, and I fell in love with her, dude. I love Monty's wife. I just want to hang out with her all the time. More moms and more wives, dude. I like befriended all the moms and all the wives. I just love them, bro.